Hello, my name is Matt Green, and I am a fan of both Mario fan and Sonic fan. And I remember that it was one day that I was being bullied for liking both Mario and Sonic games. When I came home really sad, those two things that would always cheer me up was playing Mario, Sonic, or Nintendo and Sega games. In general, or listening to bands like Linkin Park, Green Day, and many others, and then all my problems would go away. But one day I was looking at Walmart.com and I found a game titled Mario and Sonic Adventures Through the Dead House. Then by the title I thought this could be somewhat like a Luigi's Mansion. So I purchased the game on Nintendo to see how it would play it, and 2 days later it arrived. I popped the game into my Nintendo Switch and played the game. The game starts off with Mario's friends like Peach, Luigi, and Yoshi, and Sonic's friends like Amy and Tails and Knuckles. And all of them were going to the house because they were on vacation. When they get to the house they will all be staying, they realized it was haunted. "Wow, this place is creepy," Sonic says. "Yeah, why would they recommend this place for us to stay?" Mario asked. "Well, we'll best have a place to stay till tomorrow," Luigi says. "Yeah, if we stay here for the night, we should be able to get some sleep, so we won't be able to be cranky before we get to Speed Park," Tails said. "Yeah, I'm tired, so where's the owner of the house? I'm getting kind of tired," Peach says while yawning. "Yeah, when we find the owner of this house, he'll lead us to our rooms," Amy says as the owner comes in and says, "Hello, welcome to my home. Why do you all come to my home?" "We need a place to stay," Knuckles said. "Fair enough. You may stay for the night, and for the night only. Let me help you with your bags, and dinner will be ready," the owner said. "And my name is Oliver, and if you were all wondering," he continued and sounded like the British accent. "Yoshi," said. Anyhow, Oliver would continue with 2 people per bedroom. He whispered to himself by saying good night because tomorrow that you ain't escaping. So yeah, I just continued to play it and I controlled Mario and Sonic and followed. Then once when Mario and Sonic got into the room, they found out that Luigi and Tails were already dead. Meanwhile, with Peach and Amy, they were terrified that what if they saw were zombies, so they ran out of the room and met up with Mario and Sonic. "Luigi and Tails are dead," Mario said with tears, and then they found Knuckles and Yoshi dead. "Why is this happening?" I mumbled to myself. Then all of a sudden, before my eyes, Mario, Sonic, Peach, and Amy were dead. I was like whispering to myself, "They're gonna die," Oliver said as then he let out an evil laugh. So I turned off the Switch and decided to take a walk. I wondered to myself, why would Nintendo and Sega make such a thing like this that I just played? So once I got home from the walk, I contacted one employee from Nintendo and Sega and asked why would they make a game like Mario and Sonic Adventures Through the Dead House. Then one Nintendo and Sega guy replied with, "We just wanted to come up with something we never done with Sonic and Mario, and make it very dark and violent by making fun of the Resident Evil games." Me and the employee from Sega got fired for making the game like this. Well, at least I now know I wish I hadn't played it, but I haven't played Mario and Sonic Adventures for the Dead, and I wish I never touched it. And that, my little pretties, was Mario and Sonic Adventures Through the Dead House, a Mario and Sonic game lost game creepypasta, written by Mario and Sonic Fan 1000. Mario and Sonic Fan 1000, thank you so much for the story. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. I actually thought this one was an okay story. And what I mean by okay was that there are a couple of problems that I do have with the story. Now, I'm going to go on with the positives of the story. Now, one thing is for sure is that it's interesting that they wanted to make fun of the Resident Evil games. You know, kind of like a spoof or something, so to speak. And, you know, I don't have a problem with people making crossovers like that when it comes to creepypastas or something. I don't, see any problem with that. Unless there's a big reason on how would it be possible to do, Resident Evil, kind of like style with Sonic and Mario. Now, I'm going to be completely honest that, Resident Evil of its own self has made a lot of games. And, the company Capcom, that they're the ones who made Resident Evil, have made tons and tons and tons of games. And, I could go on with the list and it would be like an hour-long review, but that's kind of why I'm making it longer. Well, because of what's going on. Now, for one thing I could definitely say was that the grammar was actually really good. And that is going to be the one thing I can definitely say, is that the grammar was actually really good. The sentence structure was actually amazing. The storyline was really good. The paragraph structure, but the grammar was okay. You know, I'm kind of scratched what I said earlier. The grammar's okay. The storyline could use a little more build-up. And, you know, the main issue I do have to say is the build-up. The build-up of the story needs to be a little worked on. And, you know, I'm going to be completely honest that, you know, the story, I understand this is the offers for story. If this is the case, just let me know. But I could definitely say there are some issues with the story. And, you know, I'm not trying to sound rude, but I'm just kind of, you know, trying to explain what was actually the problem with the story. So then that way the story could be better. Now, for one, the build-up of the story is the main issue with the pasta. And that's the thing that kind of, you know, baffles me. Is the part that, you know, what really kind of, you know, frustrates me is that the story of its own self, you know, the thing about it is just the build-up. Like, there's, like, the build-up is, like, you know, all over the place. Like, the story is mainly all over the place that I can't even describe, you know, where or why it's the case or something like that. You know, there needs to be a proper build-up of why this is the case. Now, however, I can understand, but why is it, how would, you know, all the characters be killed? You know, who or what killed them? It's not really explained on what it is unless a zombie from Resident Evil killed them or they suddenly died from heart attack or something. There's no explanation on how they died. That's the main thing. There's no explanation to why they died. And, you know, the thing about it is that, you know, the cliche about someone buying this game from Walmart. People, I can understand, you know, if some people want to make a cliche that's avoidable, but making it, you know, having it be, you know, someone get it from Walmart or something, it's cliched. I'm being honest. It's completely and utterly cliche. Unless there's a big reason why for it, but, you know, that's just something. And I understand if this is the offers for a story and this story does not make a whole lot of sense. The main issue I have to say is build-up. There needs to be a proper build-up in the story. When it comes, if you're writing a story, people, you need to have a good build-up to it. Because if there's no build-up, then what's all this random stuff doing there? That's basically what I'm trying to get at. You know, I'm not trying to sound rude. I'm not trying to be rude or anything like that. But what I can definitely say is that the build-up of this story needs some work. And, you know, I can definitely be honest. Like, one thing I could definitely say right now that really just, really gets me, you know, okay then, I guess, is the story. Now, there needs to be a little bit of a proper build-up when you are writing the story. Now, understand, Mario and Sonic fan, I'm only doing this because I want to help you get better with your writing. And that's going to be saying something. Now, another thing too, and this is another issue when I have the story, is that the grammar's okay. I can definitely say that you did try to come up with something new, and I understand this was made in Google Docs, but here's the thing. The grammar's okay, but it could use some work, and that's going to be something, because there's a few grammar errors throughout the story, and that's kind of why I stuttered a bit, because, you know, the grammar was a little off at certain parts, but that's kind of why I stuttered a bit. Now, the sentence structuring, I believe the sentence structuring needs to be worked on too. Like, there were parts of the story that had run-on sentences, and that made it really difficult to read. Because there was, like, lack of any proper punctuation marks throughout the story. And you need to, like, before you, you know, submit a story to anywhere, you need to make sure where the right punctuation marks need to go to. Because if you just sit there and, you know, just make a story and say, oh, look, it's done, and there's no proper proper punctuation marks, that's going to be a little bit of a problem with the story. And, you know, that's the thing. There needs to be a little bit of build-up when it comes to the story. And, you know, the main issue with the story is just build-up. Like, you need to have a proper build-up when it comes to writing this story. Like, if you're going to write any story in the future, you need to have the proper build-up. Because if you don't have a real proper build-up, it's just, the story's just going to be, like, all over the place. And, you know, that's going to be the thing. And it's going to be, you know, mainly the problem with it. Okay, another issue with the story is that it's in one big giant paragraph. Like, it's in giant paragraph. That's the main reason why the story was very confusing to read. Now, you can have maybe 2 or 3 sentences in a paragraph, then use the enter to split it so it's easier to read. And that's the main issue, is that, besides the build-up, is that the paragraph structuring, it needs to be worked on. You can have like maybe a few sentences in a paragraph and then just go on and make a new paragraph. If you just have it, in a giant paragraph like this, not a lot of people are going to be, reading it that well, because, it's incredibly hard to read. Now, of course, the plot of the game, Sonic and his friends go to the house, the dead house, and then they all of a sudden die. Okay. Now, I don't mind if you, are going to do something like this, but the thing about it is that it's kind of this, it's just really confusing. Like, it's confusing. Like, what, if it's called the dead house, how would it be how, Sonic and Mario's friends end up dying? How? There's, like, no explanation on how they died. They could have had a heart attack, for example, or they could have had, bitten by a zombie or something. You need to be including a good explanation to why it's happening. Because if there's no explanation, then how is it going to be possible for authors to find out and people to find out myself? Now, the ending, know about the person, saying that they came up with the game, and of course they wanted to make up something they'd never done before. And then they said they made it dark and violent by making fun of the Resident Evil games, and the employee got fired for making it. So, yeah. And the ending saying, I'll never play it again. Okay. There's a big problem with that. Why is it that all pastas have to have saying, I'll never watch this episode again, or I'll never play this certain game again? No. Why is that the case that a lot of pastas have to do this? I'm afraid there's something I'm not going to understand, is why the pastas themselves have to do this. I'm afraid that's going to be a question that I'm not going to understand, is why that's the case. I don't even know why that's there to begin with, but that is another cliche, that's been used. It's been done so many times. It's cliched. That's the thing. And the main issue is just build up. Like, the main one is just building up with the story itself. This is disappointing that there's no build up with the story. And that's really disappointing. I'm going to be completely utterly honest. Okay. I think I need to, calmly explain, more about this here. But I can definitely say the story needs a little more work. And, that's going to be something. The story needs to have a bit more work. And that is something I'm going to say right now, is that the story needs to have more work. There needs to be a little more time and effort into it. The grammar could be fixed up. The sentence structure needs to be fixed up. And the paragraph structure needs to be fixed up. So, to the author, Mario and Sonic fan 1000, please try and revise the story and make it a little better. Try, all the things I said. Try avoid as many cliches as you possibly can. Or if there is a cliche that you do know for a fact that it's unavoidable, make it in such a way that will be completely original. Even though it will still consider it to be, a cliche, it will still be very interesting to see. But other than that, this one is just amazing. And I could definitely say right now that it was really cool. But I could definitely say this one was interesting, but it needs to be fixed up. Mainly with the build-up and all that, but other than that, this story was, okay. Alright, I think I just gone on with the review long enough. To the author, no offense to you about if this, if I, bring your motivation down, I do apologize. But I'm only doing these reviews just to help people get better with their writing. And please try to revise the story as much as you can. Okay, I think I kind of explained, too much about, what I see here. But anyways, we're just gonna basically sit down and, I'm just gonna wrap up the review before we get started. Oh, okay. Let me begin with something right here, right now. The story. Now, the thing about it is that this. Now, I'm going to be completely honest, and I'm going to say this right now. This story, of its own self, no, this story, please try to revise it. Try to revise the story to make it a little more better. And that's going to be something right here. But of course, I kind of explained it well enough, but like I'm going to say right now, this is simply my own personal opinion, and if you disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of the story, I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 10. It's only getting a 5 because, the offer did okay, but it needs a little bit more improvement, respectively with the story of why it needs more improvement. You guys should already know why it needs more improvement. If you didn't listen to the review, you should listen to it. But other than that, the story was flat out okay, but it needs build-up, and it needs to be improved. And that's, I'm going to be honest, it just needs a little bit of improvement. And, that's the thing when it comes to that. But other than that, the story was just okay. Anyways, what did you all think about this creepypasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Leave me down what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you're brand new here to this channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload so you guys won't miss an upload. And like always, please roll the outro because I'm out of here. And I will be seeing you all in the next video. Peace out, and I'll see you all next time.